giving away this 1,000 horsepower G-body. Go over to lsnasty.com.
Check out our merchandise. Every dollar you spend is an entry to win this.
Eddie Murphy turbo kit in the house. All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It is it's like the same day. I think we filmed like 3 videos today. We've been literally hammering them out. Matt has been here in the shop getting a lot of stuff done. I have been out running around. We're preparing for storm season. If you guys are interested in doing some storm work, send me an email, johndocrecovery@gmail.com or
stormworknc@gmail.com.
and you guys can get up with us, either myself or Matt, and we can get you hooked up. The storm season's right around the corner. The race car funds, to have your race car looking like this, they can come from the storm work. So you guys hit us up. It's a money maker for a bunch of people. Anyways, let's get right into it. Eddie Murphy, you guys know this car's been around for a while. This is its greatest rendition yet. We got Matt over here, just did all the cold side. I did the hot side. So we got a collaboration. Salty John Fab and Matt. Salty John Fab and Matt. See, I think we could be Salty John Fab. I'm John. Matt.
JFM.
Matt could be Salty. What is it? Wait, hold on. What's S?
Salty John Fab. Matt. SJFM.
Oh wow, that's a tongueful there. So all right. I don't know when the last time we talked about this thing was, but if we go over it real quick, we'll start off with my beautiful work here. We'll start off with mine. So I don't want to take away from your thunder here, but you know, simple 2.5 crossover. We got some motion wastegate flanges welded on there. I think Matt welded some of those up. I know you welded one of them. You welded part of the one that I welded. So you guys can tell. Look, I welded this right here. I'm not gonna hide from you guys. That's me, okay? That's me. The camera's not even happy. It's blurry. It's just blurry on camera. Right there. That's me. Okay. Okay, that's me. But yeah, well, simple 2.5 crossover. We use some Huron Speed log style manifold, super compact, super good with a 2.5-inch V band. We use some not the TISS Fab or Stainless Bros material like we normally use. We just use some normal. Well, I guess there's some 2.5-inch TISS Fab stuff down there.
2.5-inch, and then like the straight's just a 304 straight from ATEC. So
yeah, works good. Ran it across. We got a Parker Speed T6 dual 2.5 inlet flange, which works great. We got some right now. We have just some VS Racing wastegates on there, but we're probably gonna switch over to the Turbo Smart stuff here shortly. But the motion flanges work great. So very simple, basic hot side. No flex tubing. We don't really use any flex tubing or any flex joints in our hot sides.
Yeah, some of the stuff, if it's making a bunch of power, which we still could, put a double slip in it. If you do anything, don't use a flex joint, use a double slip. If you're building one, that's ideally the best way to do it.
Why don't we use, well, I guess we use a double slip in Slick Rick.
Yeah, I use a double slip in MK Ultra. It'll leak initially when you first crank it up, but after it gets to like first 5 seconds of some exhaust heat in there, it seals up nice tight, but allows some flexibility between the hot side. And it also really helps, you know, because you build these things, everything fits, and you heat cycled a few times, and then they don't fit that great. With a double slip, it allows it to move a little bit on a reinstall. So, but it's something we could easily cut and put a double slip in this, no problem,
if we need to. So
yep.
Pretty trick how we mounted the turbo. We got a Rock Solid Motorsports tube front end with a Maven mount actually in the tube, so it's got a drain mount which holds the turbo. So the turbo is not being held up by the hot side, it's being fully braced and built into the tube front end. So Matt put the radiator in there. It's just in the bottom. We haven't finalized the installation
on here, and then it's got some tabs welded on there. And then now, after we get all our stuff in here, and I like to do the bare minimum, and then after you get everything piled in there, then figure out, because you're like, you can bend a small tube, however, but if you got something that goes right here, you might not be able to move that. So I usually wait till the last minute, get everything in there, and then once we know, like, hey, we got everything in it needed to run, nothing else is going to go here, then start doing a brace. So I'll probably come off here with a round tube, weld something on there. AC condenser is going to go in between these two. I'm going to build a sheet metal aluminum duct that goes on the bottom of it. So I build it to where the intercooler's up a little bit. So what's going to happen is air is going to be able to pull about this much air underneath the intercooler, and it's going to shovel it up in between the intercooler and the AC condenser. So we cool our AC condenser so we don't have any issues there, and we also get some airflow to our radiator, because these really thick intercoolers, they do good, but they block a lot of airflow, so that kind of sucks. So that's one of the reasons why I spaced it away from the radiator as far as I did, to try to get some airflow in between there.
So we had the hot side done, we had the turbo mounted, had the radiator mocked up, had the intake on, and said, Matt, knock out the cold side. You are aluminum welding expert here, and because Matt tries to keep me as far away from that as possible. We looked at a couple different options, 3-inch, 3.5, ended up landing on 4-inch, and man, oh man, did it look and work and fit beautifully.
Yep. So I wanted to do the 4-inch because this thing, you know, we're not really sure what we're going to do with it yet. We might try to go kind of fast, we might try to go really fast. So we know 4-inch is not going to be an issue. It's not going to be a restriction. The coming out of the turbo, especially, you know, you got your exhaust gas, or the outlet gases that are pretty hot. You know, out of the turbo, you can see 400-degree temperatures, 500-degree temperatures sometimes. So the larger diameter going into the intercooler is definitely going to help. And then that way, I also cut all this off and put that to where it's got a 4, because right now it's got a 3.5-inch inlet, so now it's a 4-inch inlet. Went on over, got a 4-inch outlet, V-band right here, Turbo Smart race port, and we ended up welding this directly to the throttle body. So now we have 2 connections, holds the whole entire cold side together. That way we don't have to worry about anything blowing off, no couplers or anything. To get this out, it's very simple. You just take the V-band off, take the 4 bolts out of the throttle body, it comes right off. So it's not like any kind of weird maintenance issues, or you can't get it off, or you gotta take the radiator out to get it all off. So that ended up working. Got plenty of clearance right here for our outlet on our water pump. So this is a dual pass radiator. So if you guys are building anything, just put a dual pass in it. Don't do a cross flow or a down flow or anything. A dual pass radiator, it'll cool much better, so you get way more cooling capacity out of a radiator this size. So what it's going to do is it's going to come in here, and then it's got a split right here. You can't see it because it's welded internally, but it's got a divider. So it's basically, it comes in here and it forces it through here and then forces through the bottom. Because what happens is, on a normal radiator, sometimes you just get a little bit of coolant flow in one section of it. So a lot of the radiator, like if you looked at it through thermal imaging, you'd see that there's a majority of it that's not actually doing much cooling. So that forces everything to go through the radiator. Because, you know, we're going to street drive this thing. It's going to have AC. It's going to have all the bells and whistles. It's going to have, but we got all kinds of cool ideas we're going to do with it, and it's going to be a true, real deal. Jump in it, drive it to California, drive it wherever. We're going to keep it hydraulic roller, no issues, no like exotic stuff to where you can't drive it for a long time. Pump gas, E85. So.
And something, what's so cool about the LS platform is this is a black sheep stage. Really, it's a stage 1.5. It's a badass stock block. But it's got really good internals. At any point in time, we could pop a stage 3 black sheep in here with water in it, and
yeah, I mean, well, and 2, we went really fast. I mean, look at Hank. I mean,
well, that's a lot more simple of a motor than this. This motor is a lot more badass than that.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking like this thing is definitely capable of going very fast, very, very fast, because this is going to be lighter than Hank. It's going to have a lot more chassis in it, so it's got a whole lot of capabilities. We just want to make sure, if we're going to do drag and drives, we got a good cooling system. We're going to have a really good transcooler set up, like it's saying. We're going to try to make it bulletproof, because on those, it's not always fastest car. You know, you got to make it to every single track. You got to go down, and you can't have any issues. But I feel like we're pretty on top of our stuff, to where, you know, it's like Hank. I mean, can I tell him like 7 passes? And it's not
be very vague.
It's not a 5-second car. And 7 passes, and 3 of those were dealing with the water pump. So
and converter is not spec'd right, because I did not think it would make the power it did.
Yeah, so I mean, we're dealing with a little loose converter. We have no real kind of data on it to where we could, you know, do a lot of tuning. We just build it right the first time. And you go out there, like the water pump thing, that was just an issue, and I've never ran them like that because I've always put a freeze plug in there. But if it wasn't for that, we would have literally built a car and went to the track and gone faster than a 5-second pass without anything. I mean, that is a testament to where if you really take your time and you make sure everything is right when you build them, you won't have any issues. It's the guys that you got. I know you've probably done it, your buddy or whatever. You go to the track and you spend a whole entire year. Every time you go to the track, something happens. And
hit the tires,
something breaks.
It's part of it, but there's definitely things you could do to avoid it. And that thing right there, I don't think a lot of people understand. We had it done for 4 weeks before we took it to the track. It was done. It could have gone to the track, but we stayed. We went over everything, made sure everything was how it needs to be before we went to the track.
Yeah, and we went to Mustang Week, drove around. It was hot, 95 degrees. Idled around. I mean,
burnout contest.
Burnout. Yeah, that thing. Woo!
So this thing here, if you guys are just, I mean, I'll just hold the camera back and let you guys look at it. It looks very mean. It looks like a drag and drive car. This is how a lot of these cars are. You know, big radiator, big intercooler.
I like the air-to-air better than air-to-water, honestly. I mean, E85 too. Like, we can run E98 in it. You don't really need to have an air-to-water, and it's just air-to-water adds so much more complexity to the system. This is just you run it, you cool it off. You know, we're gonna make it to where the front end, we're gonna do like a one-piece steel front end, like so all the stock stuff, but it removes. So when we get off, we can just jerk off the front end just like a race car.
Sorry, what?
Huh?
What'd you say? What?
Yeah, just jerk it off.
In the drag and drive stuff, can you drive it with the front end off?
I mean, they drop without the hoods.
So I mean, literally, you just build the trailer where you can stick your whole front end up there. God, can you imagine how pissed people would be?
It look like a no prep car.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
I don't think we'd have to. I think we could leave the hood on it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this, I mean, dude, this thing is, we're really taking our time and building it right, and, I mean, it's going to be badass. I mean, it already is badass. If you just look at, you know, the layout with the 4-inch, cold side, it looks like, I mean, it's just, man.
It's ready for business.
Yeah, you knocked it out of the park. Hey, good job on that. Good job on that. You know, I'm not going to pat my own back here, but if the hot side wasn't so perfect, I mean, I don't know if you've been able to mirror it with the perfect cold side.
Yeah, you know, I'd have...
See, what people don't understand here, hold the camera for a second. I just want to show you guys some things here. See this angle here? This is uphill, okay? See how this is going uphill? Now, it's going to be tough to tell, but if you look right through here, just maybe like right down here at this angle, the hot side's slightly uphill. We're to the point where we're building cars, we're matching our hot side and cold side, where they both just travel uphill a little bit. Now, if I made that level, perfectly level, that would have been terrible, because then Matt would have had to come over here, and then he'd have to jack this straight up, go over, and then have it level across. I was thinking ahead. Yeah. I knew.
Or what if the hot side was level, and then it matched the intercooler being level?
No.
Or the radiator being level?
No, because it's...
Or the chassis being level?
Now, if there was another tube that was level there, I would say yes. But we can confirm that the bar going across the tube front end isn't level. So there was no point to square that off when that wasn't level.
All right.
But you didn't install the tube front end. So we're not saying that you installed it unlevel. But it's okay, guys. The main thing is we got air going from one side to the other. And then forced air comes from one side to the other. And then boom, we're going fast. But there are some things I like. Like Matt decided to weld directly to this instead of putting a clamp there. I think it looks super clean. I like that look. Like he said, working on it too with being able to pull the front end off, it gives you that race car vibe. And just being able to get in here to take that off, no issues at all. I think we need to start doing this more often, not putting the clamp right on the throttle body.
So I've for a long time, I've welded charge pipes directly to it. Just because, for one, these things don't have shit for a lip. Like, they always blowing off. You put the 90 on there, it just never works out good. And how tight this is here, you would have never got. I guess you could have cut this off and then welded a V-band on there and got it. But
I guess some people would be like, well, if you have an issue with your throttle body, but how many people are having issues with the throttle bodies?
Yeah, no, I mean
they're just
one of those
it's like a maintenance item, I guess. Make sure everything's like where it needs to be. But
well, I mean, you have an issue with the throttle body, and then you got to weld a V-band on. You just cut that off and weld it straight to the
other one.
So and maintenance wise, it's like how often are you
maintaining your throttle body?
We just really build them, or we just don't work on them.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's what John was going for on the Colorado with the turbo.
That is exactly the goal. We're going to build it and not work on it.
I like
Just
it.
gonna drive it like hundreds of thousands of miles. I mean, dude, if we can go 41 miles at wide open throttle on this and not work on it, I think we can handle. I think we got this under. I don't think people really respect what we did with that.
Yeah, no, that's.
Because I was on the phone with Kevin Mullins today. You guys know, big TKM guys, right? Big TKM guys. We get all of our engines are done by Kevin up at TKM. Kevin, Sammy, Eric, all the guys up there do an amazing job. That's a prime example. We go out there right out the box, absolutely flying. This thing here, 300 plus passes, making well over 2,000, 2,500 horsepower. It's not normal yet, but I think we can make it normal that you can get that many passes out of a motor. And you can drive a car on the street and let it overheat once.
I will say that there is no engine builder,
oh no,
or tuner, or anybody that can make up for a poorly designed or poorly run program. You know, we are really on top of. We try to be on top of everything.
Prime example, just look at us 2 years ago. We'd go to the track every single time and just tear stuff up and just break stuff and just have issues. And then we started working with Matt.
Devil's in the details.
Yeah, we started. Matt really slowed us down as far as what we got going on here. Take our time, do it right, double check it, triple check it, no leaks. Make sure you got your shit together before you go out there.
Oh God, I remember that thing whenever first time we were in Florida and I went to unstrap it and I got covered in gear oil and I was like,
the whole saying of, oh, it's a race car, that's not an actual thing. The whole like, oh well, it's a race car, so that happens. That's a scapegoat for everyone that is missing something. So we're not perfect by any means. We strive to be perfect. We build stuff to make it better. I mean, let's go over here real quick. We built Hank. We took it. We drove it around all the time. We ran it 7 times. Absolutely flew. Is the rear end leaking any fluid?
nope.
Nope. Doesn't look like it's leaking anything.
Transmission.
Transmission.
Not leaking a drop.
I can confirm the transmission wasn't leaking.
Yep.
The engine here. Let's look at the bottom of the oil pan.
Drives bone. It looks like whenever we put it together.
I mean, it
like
really
before
does.
It ran.
It really does.
That's how you got to do it. Like.
And then go here. Let's go look at some stuff over here, like our coolant lines, our turbos leaking or anything like that. No, I mean everything is. I mean,
no headers aren't leaking.
It just takes some time, and Matt gets me all the time where I'm just like, everyone's doing it. You know, you do it when you're putting a bolt in, and it's kind of like funky. You're like, I'll just cram it in there. No, you gotta stop. If there's an issue, fix it. Do it right. Whether it takes 2 or 3 times, whether it takes an extra hour, 2 hours. It's going to save you time in the long run. So, yeah, I think Eddie Murphy's going to be badass.
Yeah, we're going to be working with
more race chassis.
Yep.
More race chassis. He hooked us up with some stuff for the S10 50 Chance. And now he's going to be hooking us up with some really badass stuff for Eddie Murphy's stock suspension, nice cage, and make sure we're safe, make sure we pass tech, make sure we're comfortable in the car, you know.
Yeah,
so
race tech.
Race tech seats, of course. So we're going to be having 2 race techs in there. We're going to have here. Let's go show them. We got them right over here. So don't mind the mess over here. We've been kind of thrashing. So if you guys want race tech seats, I got to make an order for any tall and wides, but I can order those and get them here for you at a killer price. So these are the 2 seats that we're going to be putting in. We got a tall and wide 4100 seat with no head restraint. So this will be the passenger seat, and then this will be the driver's seat, 4100. And we're going to do the tall and wide in the passenger seat, just in case Matt decides to get really fat, because he's, what, 135-pound frame?
Yeah.
So this might be a little big, but they sell these padding kits. So we'll just stick them in there, put the padding kit on there so he's comfortable riding around, and then, you know, if someone bigger wants to ride around the car.
Now, if you're driving, I'll have to wear my fire suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the head restraint for the driver. So as you can see, they have a couple different options.
Actually, I think I want to put one of those in MK Ultra with the extra padding, just in case.
How much right now would you have paid for this extra padding on your hip? How much?
Oh, a lot. Like a lot.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
So just to show you guys real quick, these race tech seats, we kind of have, this is like a good. You got a good example of the 3 different seats here. So we got the 4100 with non-head restraints. You got the 4100 with head restraints. This is what all you race car guys need. Or you got the 4119 with head restraint, which is this one is like the king daddy of the seats. It's lighter. It's got a little bit more padding to it. It's plumbed for air if you want to run air to the back of the seat. All three of these seats, absolutely amazing. Highly recommend them. The safety that comes along with them is unmatched. If you were to do a Kirky seat, which I'm not talking bad about Kirky, they're the brand that everyone runs. We run them in a bunch of stuff. We got them in every single car here. If you were to get a Kirky seat and get some ISP head padding, it would actually end up costing more money to do that combo than it would be to buy a Race Tech seat with the head restraint stuff. So highly recommend them.
Way more comfortable on the Kirky. Whenever you're sitting there and somebody oils down the track and you're just sitting in the car, these things are like a lazy boy compared to a Kirky.
Yep, they're very nice. They already got all the provisions for the mounting on them. They come with all the hardware. Can't speak highly enough of Race Tech. Right now we have these seats installed in the Colorado and Slick Rick, which we'll be coming out with very soon. We're going to stick one in the Black Sheep before we go out to the Shakedown. So we got these seats here to really update our safety. You guys can't joke around when it comes to safety stuff. Ask Matt about it.
No.
Hey, I said not joke about it.
Oh.
So, yeah, if you guys are interested in a Race Tech seat, contact me. We can order you some tall and wides. Right now, this tall and wide is spoken for Bryce, the Ellis Nasty bodyguard, but I think they just got a new shipment in, so if you guys are interested, let me know. If you guys want the regular, which I fit in, I'm 5'8", 5'9", depending on the day.
Yeah, I think a regular would fit probably somewhere up to 5'11".
Yeah, if you fit in the 17-inch Kirky, I mean, that's what I fit in.
Yeah.
I'm 5'8", 5'9". I range between 190 and 170 pounds, depending on my stress level. So I fit very comfortably and snug in a standard head restraint 4100, 4119. So hit me up. Want to make sure you guys are safe out there. Can't speak highly enough about Race Tech. Excited to be having the drag and drive car and the rest of the car. So we got a lot of work here in the shop, but we're getting stuff knocked out. Still got the Pro Mod up for sale. Price drop. I'm going to price drop it right here live. If you guys are interested in the Pro Mod here, which we'll do a quick walk over here and show you guys.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Try to pull the motor out of that.
Damn. She's going to be fresh.
57.
1,000?
57 Chevy body. Bob Bunker chassis. Double frame rail. Bunch of carbon fiber in this thing, as you can see. Linko CS1 Bruno drive just got rebuilt. It's got the AirPods billet shifter. It's got the timer if you want to do the shifter that way. Keith Black Hemi Dart billet head. Comes with extra billet head. 8 new pistons, valves, springs, bunch of stuff. Brand new Whipple R980. Who redid it? Jim.
Yeah, Jim.
Can't remember.
Blower Jim.
Blower Jim, yeah, Uncle Jim.
Uncle Jim.
He just redid the blower. The blower's got a few passes and one drive through the drive-through on there. Carbon hat. It's got a Mark Williams 11-inch rear end. It's got the badass weld magnums on there that everyone loves. Let this sucker go for $82,000. So we just dropped it from 95 to 82, and you guys can get it. So if someone's interested,
I'm kind of sad, honestly. Like, I understand that and you guys at home, you got to understand, like, we're one team. And we're not a huge team. We're not like we got 30 people here. Like, it's
on a day-to-day basis, it's 2.5 guys. Not saying David's a half guy, but Matt's only here half the time. So it's me and David and Matt here half the time. Matt's been here more though.
Yeah,
he's been here a lot.
2.5 guys and a dog.
And a dog. So well, David counts as like 1.5 people. So we're 3 people and a dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and we're just doing it. But I think a lot of people got to understand. We did this before we got the Black Sheep. We got rid of the Boosted Rooster and Brown Sugar, and everyone was pissed. And look at the greatness that came. All of this, I mean, none of this would be here, honestly, if it wasn't for the Black Sheep. If it wasn't for giving up the Boosted Rooster and Brown Sugar. So sometimes you got to take a step back.
Big jump forward.
To make a big jump forward. So, and I think what we're going to do here at the shop, as far as our production, our badassness, and the ability to get you guys some badass parts that help you guys go as fast as we do. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, I think it's going to be some really next level stuff. So $82,000, come get this Pro Mod if you want it. I really don't want to have to split it up, rolling and all that stuff.
It's such a nice, I mean, the chassis on it is
the chassis is
killer.
Nice.
Got a big ass rear end. Look at that thing.
Double
Fire
frame rail.
system, double frame rail. Just went through the transmission.
Just put a brand new seat in there. Just put new belts in there. When we got the car, it didn't really like fire up and run great. Matt wired up the grid, got the grid working.
Yeah, we did a lot of work to it. We got it to where, you know, you go down.
Some guy on Turbo Bullet, dude, total ass, right? He's like, oh, you bought that thing for 55, so why is it worth more? Well, we put a damn, I don't know, what, $20,000 blower on it.
Yeah, we got the blower. I redid the whole entire front drive, the transmission. We rewired a bunch of stuff. We went over the entire car, changed the
fuel lines.
Yeah, redid all the fuel lines, changed a bunch of stuff in the front, updated some stuff in the rear. I mean, it's not like, you know, this wasn't just a flipper.
Probably should tighten all those bolts because they're all loose. I'll do that before I sell it. So 82,000, come get it. That's gonna wrap up today's video. Here we'll end it with Matt because Matt did all the work on the cold side. Hey, you killed it, my guy. You killed it, Ava. You killed it.